You own a home, your Shangri-La, and where memories are made. But owning a home is hard. And that's where we come in. This is the Absolute Home Service Podcast. We interview local businesses to show homeowners how improvements can be made, common issues, maintenance, and everything in between. Welcome to the Absolute Home Service Podcast. And now your hosts, James McCarter.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Absolute Home Service Podcast. Today we have got a guest in the home services for security and alarm spaces. We've got Mr. Justin Wiese with Kentucky Secured. Justin, welcome, man. How's it going today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you've been in the industry, where you came from, how you got into it, and what's keeping you in it today?
Yep. So, did the traditional routes, that our age group, it was pumped on us. You go get out of high school, go to college, got to get that college degree. So actually, went to, it's BCTCS now, but LCC at the time, Lexington Community College, did my minor stuff, and then went over to UK, got a bachelor's in management and marketing. I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I just knew I needed to have that piece of paper. That's what we were told we were supposed to do, right? So started out, your first out of college job usually isn't the greatest. Transitioned into another job that had a little bit of traveling and stuff like that, doing outside sales, but it was in the RV industry. I had a buddy that was working for a company. He was leaving and recommended me. I interviewed, got the job, and great time. But I did that 2006 to 2008. And as most of you remember, that's when the economy was crashing again, or whatever, our cycles. So not too many people were purchasing RVs and things like that. And we were an RV accessory brand. Actually, we sold the stuff that hooked your car to your motorhome so you could tow it down the road. So when the economy crashed, we went from, I think, 12 sales reps down to, I was number 5 or number 4 throughout the country. So, I mean, they had to cut staff and everything else just to stay viable. So then I went to work for a startup and worked for them for about a year and a half. And I just, wasn't making good money. And I got to a point financially, like I had to leave. I love the company. I'm still friends with the owner. Wish I could have stayed, but just, the money wasn't there, and I had started dating my girlfriend. We're getting our own place and all this other stuff, talking about starting a family. And I just, financially, I had to make a move, and ended up childhood friend. He was in the security industry, and he's like, hey, come work with me. You can make X amount of dollars, a week. It's not that hard. Plus, our age, we always hooked up. I took my Nintendo and moved it from this TV to this TV, and
it's not like those portable ones today, is it?
No. So that, and of course, we fooled around with car stereos. That was our age group as well. So always, I had an interest, and I'd kind of played with that stuff before, in a sense. So, but he was working for a large security dealer just as an installer, as a tech. And he's like, come work with me. So I actually started March 1st, 2011. So it's hard to believe it's been that long. And me having that entrepreneurial, I guess, spirit, my dad owned his own business and things like that. And just through time, I started working for a guy and, want more, but, that American dream, you want more money. And I got to a point, I was just like, man, there's more technology coming out that I want to get into. The smart home stuff was becoming popular, the cameras, all that stuff. And, the company I was working for, they had their one streamlined process. This is the system we put in. This is it. This is what you get. Take it or leave it. The old Henry Ford, you can have any color you want as long as it's black. Well, I wanted to paint blue or red or whatever. So anyways, I actually went out on my own in July of 2014 and started my own company. And we were an ADT authorized dealer for up until late last year. So, I mean, it was a good fit. It has its benefits and, like anything, pros and cons to everything in this world. But
Right.
it was a good run and I enjoyed it. And, I don't knock the company, but I just felt from a customer service standpoint and a business standpoint, it was best for us to go our separate ways. So, but yeah, like I said, so started March 1st, 2011 and went out on my own July 2014 and been, plugging along since. So,
Oh, there you go. Well, what's keeping you in it?
Man, I really enjoy it. It's the challenge of it. I like to tell our guys, it's repetitive, but it's not. So we're trying to accomplish the same thing. We're trying to protect someone's home. We're trying to add cameras. We're trying to, protect someone's business. So, we're installing cameras. We're installing, security systems. As kind of our entire industry has grown, we're getting more into networking. So, the IT side of it, the smart home side. So, it's the same, but it's different. Each house or each business, each building is going to have their challenges, and each customer is going to have their own wants and needs, and something you may care about with a wife at home and kids, a retired couple's not going to care about.
Right.
So it there's just different, I guess, aspects to it. So same but different. So
yeah, and it gives you a form of satisfaction too, because I've seen like pictures and videos that you've shared on Facebook, and I know that we
right.
Going back, like even now, still today, there's still cameras that do this, but like somebody will share something of like an image and they're like, help us find this. Any leads are great. You're looking at it like, yeah, no, I'm not getting anything out of that at all.
No,
and I see images and stuff that you shared. I'm like, it looks like you're looking at the exact person. So the quality of the install and the advancement of the technology lately has just been amazing. So y'all do really good work.
Well, thank you.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, to chime in, I kind of lost my I had a line I was going to go there, but lost my train of thought. But the biggest thing, and that's kind of what I get into of, I have this conversation with people all the time, price versus cost. And you may have that same conversation. Price and cost are two different things. People get, I guess, gun shy or whatever, or scared away of maybe that initial price. But what does that cost you over the long term? So, go ahead, there's a saying we use sometimes, and I've heard it a million times: buy once, cry once. Just go ahead and bite the bullet, take the big hit up front. But that example you're giving those cameras. So let's say, I don't know, just throw numbers out there. So we quoted a system, it's $2,000. That's too much. So that person had somebody get $1,000 camera system. Well, if you have a break-in or a theft at your place of business or at your home, and we can't tell who it is, what good was that $1,000 system? You've basically wasted it. And now you're still going to, for it to do what it needs to do, you're going to have to eat that 1,000 and then spend the 2,000 to get where you need to go. So,
and then spend the money to buy back what you lost too.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's, you're investing, you're paying a price for something, but you're not looking at the true cost of it. So it's big. And I have that conversation with people all the time of like, this is, take this stuff seriously. Like, you need to, and whatever it is, I mean, it could be a mechanic, it could be, HVAC, it could be anything. Don't skimp,
Yep.
It's very expensive to be cheap in life. So
that is a fact. It definitely costs more to fix it twice. The first time, absolutely. And then for somebody to come back in and do it the right way. That is a fact. So, and we do deal with that a lot, and I know you do as well. But like you said, it's much easier to rip the Band-Aid off, to get it out of the way. You're going to be much happier, much safer, much more protected, and a lot more comfortable. Whether it's with security, HVAC, garage doors, electrical, roofing, doesn't matter what it is. You don't ever want to. The most expensive job, like my. I've heard a lot of people say this. You want to know what the most expensive job is?
The second
one you got to do twice. So getting into that, we want to help some of our homeowners better understand purchasing decisions, what to look for, what questions to ask so that they can be, better prepared when they're purchasing these products. So what are some common mistakes that homeowners make when selecting a security system?
I would say, this is kind of the reason I've went out into my own and kind of transition what we were doing is some of these companies, your equipment is proprietary. So, and I get the aspect behind it or the reasoning behind it. This company has invested in you. I come to your home, I install a security system. They might sign you up at a 3-year contract or whatever else, and I want to keep you a customer for life. What they don't want to have happen is the summer sales teams, which it's about that time where they're going to start knocking on your doors, March through September. Yep. So you're going to get worn out, but those guys come in, knock on your door, swap out your alarm, just your keypad or your panel, and take everything over. And then, there you are, I've lost you as a customer because you've switched to this guy. And, a lot of times you may not even know you're switching. That's a whole nother can of worms. But, so on that proprietary side though, a lot of companies are moving to where your sensors, everything in your house locks to that panel so it can't be taken over. So, I like that in a sense, but then to me, you've purchased the system, it's yours. You should be able to do with it what you want. Just if I get you to sign a 3-year contract and you're with me, and then your 3 years are up and you've already paid for the equipment. Well, now you can't easily switch to someone else because that equipment's proprietary. So you're going to have to start all over again. And I just, that's something I really caution people about. So I tend to put in, for lack of a better word, generic equipment. Just obviously it's name brand, but it's not proprietary. It's not locked to anything. So, because to me, if you're willing to let somebody in to your home and take over your system, I have failed as a business owner. I've not been doing my job. So, and you own it. So if I failed you, then let's make it an easy transition for you to go to somebody else. Because also my thought is on that, what if you do switch and you're not happy with them? I don't want to burn that bridge with you and not be a chance to, to earn that business back and repair that relationship. So that's one of the big ones. Some of the other things I see, and it's more where I came from, the tech side, not the salesman side. Some of these guys don't fully understand how an alarm system works. That's why, we do free consultations. I walk through, if I was coming to your home, we're going to schedule an appointment. If you wanted to be there or meet with your wife, ideally both of you, my first question is, what's your biggest concern? Is it when you're home? Is it when you're away? Are you traveling? Like, is, your kid's bedroom in that back corner of the house in the backyard and it's, dimly lit there? Is that what you're worried about? Or, are you worried? You're just worried about fire. You don't care if anybody breaks in and steals all your stuff. You just want the fire protection. And if you're gone, your animal isn't going to burn up, in a house fire or something like that. So, the biggest thing is just kind of do a self-assessment, walk around and think about, if what triggered me thinking I want or need a camera system or a security system or whatever else, and what's my pain points? What am I trying to fix? And that's what you truly need to share, with your sales representative or the technician that comes out to talk to you about your security system. Granted, we are the professionals and we should know, but I need to know what your problem is first so I can solve that instead of me just blatantly recommending because, I'm trying to get a sales commission. Every window, every glass break, and then you run up a $3,000 bill and, you might not necessarily need that because that's not what you're looking for. So.
Right. And you really just hit some hot and heavy keywords there. Because one thing that we really focus on that helps us here is, what is your problem and how can we solve it? Because, no matter what it is, I mean, I explain it to people like, when I go in and doing the consultations for, whether it be HVAC or garage doors or whatever the case may be, what problem do you have that you would like me to solve? It'd be no different if you were going to buy a vehicle,
Yeah.
My problem is I've got 10 kids. Well, a two-seater Corvette is not going to work,
Right.
how are you going to help me? Let's look at options that's going to be able to carry my family in safety and et cetera, whatever that might look like. So very, very big, heavy keywords as stated, because we focus on that a lot. I don't want to show up to your house and you have a detached garage, right? And then I'm trying to offer you the highest insulated garage door that's available. Why? Unless you're going to be in there working and then the garage is insulated, but that does nothing for the home. So how are we going to help you? What problems can we solve? So earlier we were talking about professional installs, doing things the right way. So in your opinion, how important do you think it is to have a security system professionally installed versus doing it yourself?
And again, it comes down to customers, and there's people out there. They're strictly price shopping, and I'm not going to be the cheapest. Any professional security company is not going to be the cheapest. It's a do-it-yourself market. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a race to the bottom, but they have definitely cut into that, and they've been innovative. They found a different way to, I'm not going to say attack the industry, but they have found an industry that they can go into and be successful in. And, whether it's they're cutting lower margins, because they've got, they're just doing it in volume and things like that, or, whatever. But I have conversations again. It's like, what are you interested in? And then, we'll price it all out. And it really comes down to like how technical savvy you are, or how involved you want to be. Do you want to install this yourself? Then after the fact, if you have a problem, do you want to, do you want to be the one on the phone sitting here trying to figure it out? And then, if a part's broke, they're going to have to ship you a new one. And then, you're swapping that out and reprogramming it. And, some people, again, they're tech savvy. They're comfortable with that. But, as I've kind of grown in my business, I used to fight to get that customer, and over time, like it's not worth it. I'm going to do them a disservice, because the cost saving has to come from somewhere. So am I selling them an inferior product, and am I going to do an inferior install? No, I'm not going to do any of that. So at that point, I'm just costing myself money to get that customer. And there's times we're not a good fit. If you think you can do it yourself, have at it. Like, I wish you the best. And, I'm not slamming the do-it-yourself systems. There's plenty of them out there that work. But for us, we try to find, I guess, the professional or the homeowner that just, they don't want to deal with it. They want to, and I mean, it's a blessing and a curse, but the business line is my cell phone number. And that thing, it rings.
Been through those days.
Yeah. And I try to be very responsive. But I tell people all the time, you're not calling an 800 number and getting passed around. Like, I have been to your house, me, I know you, I know the install that we completed. So when you call me and you have a question about your system or whatever else, I can walk you through it. There's nothing worse than, because I've dealt with it with internet companies or, cell phone companies or whatever. You have a problem, you call in, you tell them all about your problem. Wrong department. Hold on, let me transfer you. And then you get transferred over. And then you're like, you're in a never ending loop. Like, I am the face of the company. We're small. I try to keep it that way. I want to keep it that way. That way we've got that personal touch. But like, I want to know all my customers. I want all my customers to know me and know our team. And, if you're looking for that personal touch, is it going to cost you a little bit more? Yeah, but it's what do you value? Do you value the fact that you can text the owner and he's going to respond to you and get somebody there within sometimes same day? I mean, if I've got somebody free and you've got a problem, hey man, we'll be there this afternoon. Right. Or at least we'll be there first thing in the morning. Or do you want to call an 800 number and sit there and try to deal with that? So it's just,
and then get put on an 8 to 5 window.
Yeah. What do you prioritize? Yeah. Yeah. We'll have a tech there between 8 and 5. Okay. Could you
in March?
2 hours? Yeah.
Right.
So I push customer service. Our golden rule, and I've had this even before I started my own company. I want to treat every customer like I'd like my mother or my grandmother to be treated.
That is a
And I
fact.
mean, dude, and I preach that in my guys. Some of them came from the summer programs where it's bang, 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 bang. They're quantity over. I'm sorry, quality. No, that's right. I'm saying it right. Quantity over quality.
Right.
We're not that way. We're quality over quantity. We are
Correct.
there to take care of that customer and focus on that customer till they're happy.
You love the one you're with.
Yeah, absolutely.
You stay with them, you see it through. So there's some pros and cons to DIY, and you've nailed several of them. But one of them that would be hitting right now. So, for example, here in Lexington, there's 400,000 people experiencing power outages. Right, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
So
as you're hot spotting from your phone, and I'm in my buddy's conference room because
that's right. Making things happen. That's why the success that we have in our community is where it's at. So there's systems out there now. So correct me if I'm wrong. Security systems, cameras, etc., require electricity to work, right?
Absolutely.
If you don't have it, what can you do? Battery backup systems. I know you've got them. I know they're available. I've seen them. So that your security is still working, your fire, police, all that is all still working. Those are things and options that do not come with the DIY, and they wouldn't even think about something like that. The only reason I'm thinking about that is because I spent some time in your world before my current life. So I know a little bit about the security world, but those are things that DIY that you're not, it's not going to say on that box, hey, try this, or hey, look at this. It's going to make that DIY look so good to where that's the decision that you make versus overcalling a company.
Correct.
So
I'll be honest, they may have transitioned and got a little bit better. I don't know. I have completely, I don't even look at the Simply Safe.
Pull that from your memory bank, huh?
Yeah. It's just like if I'm working at the Mercedes dealership and you start talking to me about features on a Toyota Camry or a Corolla or something, like we're not even in the same world. Like it's just, I don't even, are they my competition? Yes. But do I see them as competition? No. We're in two totally different markets. So,
well, like you said, you still focus on who and what you have. So, Going off of whether it's DIY or one of the systems that you talked about, how can homeowners choose the right security system that meets their needs and budget? And I know earlier you talked about what problem do you have, what can we solve, but digging a little bit deeper into that, how do we solve that?
So, I mean, alarm systems, we talked about this outside of the podcast or whatever, but they all essentially work the same. Your alarm goes off, whether it's your door contact, window contact, glass break, motion detector, whatever else. It goes off. It's going to send a signal to the monitoring station. Somebody sitting at a computer like I am right now, your info pops up. They've got a call list. I'm going to call James. James doesn't answer. I'm calling James's wife, running down that list. They don't answer. I'm basically calling 911. I'm calling the local department for them. So, and they're all going to work the same. And, even with your do-it-yourself, it's not necessarily how the system works. It's going to be the effectiveness of the system. And I guess the quality of equipment that you're getting, that you're installing. So, but generally speaking, security systems are going to work the same across the board. Where we kind of get into, I guess, more the questions of a do-it-yourself versus having us do it, or another security company, is going to be on your cameras. And the questions I look for are, are you looking for 24/7 recording? Are you looking for alerts and notifications on your phone? Do you care that it's Wi-Fi? Or do you want a hardwire system? How good's the Wi-Fi at your house? I guess not only how good's the Wi-Fi at your house, how good's the internet? Is the internet going to stay up most of the time? Do you have any downtime? Because that's the problem with a lot of these do-it-yourself cloud-based systems. Guess what? If you don't have internet, you don't have you don't have camera footage. Correct. It's gone. And I've told people this, and I don't mean to scare them or sound like the bad guy, but I was like, the old Lifetime movies where, the lady's on the phone and the guy's breaking in the house and he goes on the side and he cuts the line. and that kills the phone line, and now she can't call the police or the alarm's not going to work. That's come full circle now, because I'm not cutting your line for you to call. I'm cutting your internet line so your cameras don't work.
Right.
You've got power, they're working, the alarm's going off, but guess what? You have no footage because everything's cloud-based and your internet's down. Now, there's ways around that, because we still do some Wi-Fi cameras. Part of our back end is alarm.com. So, your Kentucky Secure comes and puts your alarm system in, and a good chunk of companies out there use alarm.com. Well, on your alarm.com, you're also going to have alarm.com cameras. Well, something that we do, it's not an option with us to not do it. All your cloud-based cameras, which, will send you the alerts or notifications that, somebody's at your front door. But we install a micro SD card in every single one of the cameras we install. We will not put it in otherwise. The reason we do that is that micro SD card still offers 24/7 recording. So if the internet's down or for some reason the analytics don't trigger and it doesn't pick up motion or something happens, but like 8 o'clock last night, I know I came in and I locked my doors, or I thought I locked my doors, and I went in the house, and then at 8 a.m. I go to work the next morning and my car's been rifled through, but I don't have any notifications on my phone.
Right.
Well, that micro SD card, as long as that camera had power, is still recording, and you have a chance to go through and see what happened. So I kind of get into price, what's your budget. I don't even want to say price. Time and money. That's the two big factors for, anything in life. Anytime somebody asks me, well, can you? I'm like, time and money. That's what it comes down to. How much time do you want to invest in this? How much money do you want to spend? But all those cloud-based systems, they also are going to have a monthly fee associated with it. So that's the conversation I'll have with homeowners or business owners too, is so instead of saving money up front and maybe putting in, the cameras themselves are cheaper, and you got your micro SD card and things like that, but you're going to have a monthly fee. You may be more interested in, I don't want a monthly fee. I deal with those people. I don't want to pay a monthly bill. I just want to be done. Okay, well, now we're looking at a standalone camera system, a traditional, your 4 cameras, 6 cameras, 8 cameras, whatever, going back to a recorder. You're going to have a higher upfront cost, but once you've done it, buy once, cry once, you're done. The system's
Right.
there. You can still get notifications on your phone. You can still, it's recording 24/7, all that stuff, but there's no monthly fee associated with it. So again, it comes back to, and I'm not trying to sound like, a sales guy, but, the sales gurus will pound you about, poking and prodding and asking these questions and digging to the roots. But it's simply, what are you looking for? Mr. Homeowner or Mr. Business Owner, what are you looking for? What's your pain points? How can I fix those pain points for you? How can I help you?
Right.
So,
it's hard to solve problems when you don't know what problem you're solving.
Right. So
and we get that often, with people saying like, oh, well, you're asking all these questions. You're just trying to dig and you're trying to do blah, 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 blah. How well do you think a mechanic would be able to fix your car if you just took it into his shop and said, it's broken, fix it?
Yeah.
If he doesn't ask you, is it making noises? Where does this happen? Driving or not driving? Can you turn? Can you stop? If he's not asking those questions, that's not a mechanic I would want to work with.
No.
So ask me those questions. Well, because like you said, money, time, and energy, that's all that it comes down to.
Yep.
So now you're talking time, right? I'm going to spend a lot more time with you trying to go over these whole slew of options or do a full 1,000-point diagnostic rather than you just telling me, hey, James, when I turn, it clicks. Or hey, when I want this back corner of my house, etc. That's a very good point. I will combat that all day long. And I will tell people, I'm not a salesman, and I'm not scared of the word to say that I sell products. We solve problems. That's all we're looking to do. And you've got a problem, and I've got the solution. We need to come to an agreement on how we're going to be able to exchange those two.
Right.
So it's all really good stuff. So you've talked some about like home automation, and stuff like that. Let's dig into a little bit of that. So how do camera systems or security systems integrate with the home automation systems?
And that's another conversation I have. I'm like, do you want all one app? Do you want it fully integrated, or do you care
No
to
more
use
app
different
fatigue.
apps? Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, it just comes down to me. And again, I've been doing this since 2011, so I kind of know what questions to ask because you know I came from the tech side. I know what I fight with on that side.
Right.
I have a security system in my office, in my home, and my wife. I deal with her pain points. She doesn't want 15 different apps to go through. She wants it all integrated. She
Right.
wants it simple. Like, so that's, and then some people don't care. So, home automation, the big ones that we really do are your garage door openers, which,
Yep.
a lot of times in your all's world, you're going to put in the MyQ with the Wi-Fi. I mean,
Right.
if at this point, why do they even make a garage door opener that doesn't have it? I don't know why. To me, it can't cost.
Great question.
Is it $50? I don't know in your all's world what that price difference is, but to me, it should not even be an option to not have it. We do a lot of deadbolts, so front door. And I jokingly tell people right now, like, I don't have a key to my office and I don't have a key to my house.
Same.
I
I don't even have a
use
key to my car.
Yeah.
My push button.
Exactly.
But
So,
yeah, I'm the same. I
I
don't have a key to my front door. I don't have a key to our office because we got.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you put the badges on there, right? So
Yeah.
we scan in and out of the office. So
Yeah.
I'm same boat.
Keyless society. So,
Yeah.
but it's so those, and then also I like lights because even when I have that consultation again, and I tell people sometimes even if we aren't a good fit, I do free consultations, and I will tell people things that they can do to improve it. I'm like, LED lights. That is the cheapest, simplest thing you can do. If you're worried
Yeah.
about your security, get LED lights, light up the outside of your house. Every corner. That way, regardless if something's going on, you can look outside and see if somebody's moving around, or your neighbor who may be up getting a glass of water looks out and sees somebody in your backyard. Like,
Right.
LED lights are cheap. You can leave them on, but that's where it comes into the home automation and that integration. We replace the light switches. Almost every light switch in my house I can control from my phone, or it's already on a schedule.
Yep.
So when it gets dark, all my exterior lights automatically kick on.
Yep.
Every morning, they automatically shut off. So
That's
and
convenient.
it's not,
That's what you were talking about earlier. What do you want? That's convenience. I don't have to go through my house flipping switches, turning switches off. It's automatic. It's touch free. I don't have to do anything with it. You come in. How did you say it? Buy once, cry once.
Buy once, cry once. Yeah.
It costs a little bit more upfront to get everything converted over, right?
Right.
And then once you do, it's done. And then like my wife. Luckily, I don't have any power in here right now, so this is going to be easy. I go,
Right.
Hey Google, and everything starts lighting up in the house, like, or I'll say like it's bedtime, and it closes all my lights, turns everything down, and then Google tells me good night, and I feel good and have some good dreams.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say too, because we can set, and it goes back to setting up rules, but it's that old adage of if this, then that.
Correct.
So if this happens, then I want this to happen. So, the alarm.com world, they call it scenes. So that's the same thing. You can have a bedtime scene, but me currently, so right now it's either 11 or 11:30 p.m. I think I moved it back to 11:30, but at 11:30 p.m., all my interior lights, if they're not off already, they all shut off. My front door locks, my garage door closes, and my system sets to stay. I've done it before I really had my whole home set up. Go out front, you're grilling, doing whatever, cooking burgers, doing this, blah, 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 blah. You come in, you're going to go back out to clean up, but you don't. And you walk out the next morning at 6:15 and you're like, well, I left the garage door open all night. Hopefully everything's here and glad nobody came in the house. So, there's ways to combat that. And again, a lot of it doesn't necessarily have a monthly fee. The MyQ garage door installers or garage doors that you guys install, there's no monthly fee for that.
Yeah.
You can set that up. You got the MyQ, you can set a schedule, you can do everything. And it's just, it's convenience, and you're eliminating that price point. For me, again, I've left my garage door open. Thankfully, nothing happened, but I was like, I'm making sure this never happens again. So,
or when you driving down the street, the convenience there on that too is you do leave home, you go on vacation, you go on anything, and there's multiple things. Did I lock the front door? Did you set the alarm? Did you close the door? I don't have to check. I can look one time, or you could set a phrase to it. Hey, lock the fort, or shut the fort down, or secure the fort. Make it fun, right? And then it's all these sequences or scenes that you call them start kicking off. So it's fantastic. Well, I mean, this has all been pretty very, very educational and informative.
Right. I got to throw one more in on home automation. I forgot. And this.
Oh, yeah.
This became important to me, and I've never been a big thermostat guy. Like, why? Like, I'm there. We're not traveling. Like, we may take 1 or 2 vacations a year. Why does having a smart thermostat matter? Here's the reason why. So, and this was explained to me 6 years ago, and from then on, I've always had a smart thermostat. So, big thing for me in my house, again, I've got insurance, I've got cameras, whatever. If the alarm goes off, I sit there and treat it like, are you going to spend time trying to find the DVR, which has all the footage of you, and not really steal anything? Or are you going to spend the time, stealing my stuff, and then I've got the footage of you? So I'm covered there. But the big thing for me is fire. Like, I couldn't imagine if my pets were to burn up in the house or whatever else. But going back to that statement of the importance of a smart thermostat. Mm-hmm. So when my smoke detectors go off in my house and it triggers a fire alarm, my thermostat shuts off. Reason being, it's not pumping smoke through my house of wherever it's drawing it in. So once that was explained to me, like I said, probably 7 years ago, like, yeah, it's cool to be able to turn your thermostat up and down and do all this stuff. On a vacation home or a lake home, yeah, it makes sense. You're not there all the time, and you're headed down to Lake Cumberland this weekend. You're leaving Friday. Go ahead and turn the AC on to get it comfortable, whatever else. Cool, awesome. But for me, it's that safety feature of something happens in the middle of the night, house catches on fire, your AC system's not pumping that smoke throughout the house into, your bedroom, your kid's bedroom, everything else. So
it's a backup, it's a fail safe, and that's a very, very good, important point. So if anything, just get it strictly for that. So that's all fantastic stuff. And I know what we're going to end up having to do is we're going to end up having to schedule another one of these, because we can go on for hours on all this kind of stuff. But as you know, we're fighting battery, we're fighting no power, things like that. So let's wrap it up with, how can people get in contact with you? How can they schedule estimates, whether it be either phone or email?
So my website is KY like Kentucky Secured, SECURED.com. And I always throw that D on there because people do Kentucky Security or Secure or whatever. So search Kentucky Secured with a D on the end. And on there, there's a web chat feature, so you can click in and you can set something up. It'll ding my phone or one of my team members' phones, and we can set up a consult. You can also, the email's on there, but it's simple, info@KY Secured, or you can come straight to me, Justin@KYSecure.com, or the business line, again, is a cell phone I carry. You can call or text that. It's 859-699-4296. And like I said, again, we do free in-home consultations or in-business consultations. I'm not pushy. Like I said, I don't have to have that sale. I'm there to try to answer questions, and if we're a good fit, great. If not, then hopefully, you leave that consultation more educated than, before we started. And, I want you to do business with me because you want to do business with me, not, I knocked on your door and 2 hours later, your spouse gets home and you're like, we got an alarm system, honey, with a 5-year contract. And you're like, what?
Right.
So, I just, again, it goes back to my golden rule. Treat everybody like you want your mother or grandmother to be treated, and, we'll be fine. So,
man, that's all really good stuff. And I'll make sure that I'll be, I'll tag tag your contact information in this link and on the post when we share it. Yeah. Any parting words of wisdom from the security world?
Well, obviously my buy once, cry once thing, but, just.
That's going to get R&D. Do you know what that means, right?
Just
rob and duplicate.
I always tell people, this is a life safety device. It needs to work when it needs to work. My wife had accidentally burned a pan the other day. Granted, she was home and she was able to stop it, but you know what? The system went off, the smoke detector went off, and the alarm company's calling me. I'm telling them it's fine. You know what? They didn't care. They dispatched on fire. The fire department, they showed up. So what if she had not been at home, or what if I wasn't able to respond and I didn't know, and we truly had a fire? Like, the
Right.
comfort that provided me, that I know it worked, and I had 2 fire trucks in my court, and I'm embarrassed and sitting there talking to, my neighbors like, no, everything's fine. We're okay. Wife accidentally,
We're just testing the system. It's all good. Just making sure
I
we're
tell
good.
you all it works, but you know, knowing that it works, and that's why I say, it's not a toy, it's not a drone, or something that
Mhm.
you just order off the internet. Like, it, when it needs to work, it needs to work. I know that if I install a system and it's professionally monitored, that if something happens, like, I feel safe knowing it works. They've called me every time, whether it be my business, my office, or customers, or whatever else. It works, and it needs to work. So don't
I
be
will
cheap.
That will
Yeah,
make sure that gets put in there. It's a life safety device. That's fantastic. Well, Justin, we appreciate you taking the time coming on with us
absolutely,
today,
man.
and we will have you back, because I know there's a
Yes,
lot
sir.
that we haven't been able to a lot that we haven't
Might have to
uncovered
do
yet.
it in person next time. So
In person will probably work better, and we'll make sure we got batteries and we got power, we got electricity. We might have a cold drink or something like that. So,
yep, yep.
well, again, as always, thanks for doing what you do in our community, and we'll make sure that we put your name out there and share your information with all the potential clients in the area.
I appreciate it, sir. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks,
So,
Justin.
all right, buddy. Have a good day.